Others, not collect the land use.
Mr. Carrillo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to present Assembly Bill 98. This bill would provide fair standards for new and expanded warehouses near communities and other sensitive receptors. And this year, in my role as Assembly Local Government Chair, the Speaker tasked me with facilitating difficult but necessary conversations to address the issue through a working group to find a solution. Finally, I'm committed to continue to work on this next year for as many years as to make sure that there are no unintended consequences. With that, I respectfully ask for I vote.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo. Mr. Lackey, you are recognized.
Will work. There we go. I rise to speak, unfortunately, in opposition to AB 98. This measure negatively impacts small businesses. The Hispanic, Los Angeles, and San Diego chambers are all opposed, as are the businesses that make up the Inland Empire Economic Partnership. Our cities will hurt. Farmers and their workers will be heavily impacted. This will further drive up the cost of food and everyday necessities. Most importantly, the men and women of the goods movement sector will be greatly harmed. Their average salary is about $85,000 a year. This salary, which does not require a college degree, allows them to afford a home and support a family. A lot of talking going on. This bill, if passed, will erode their financial security. The regulations and fines will increase operational costs for logistic companies. Air quality won't necessarily be better, as companies will need to reroute shipments to warehouses farther away from distribution centers. Any disruption in the warehouse capacity near these ports will directly impact the speed and efficiency which goods are processed, stored, and transported, leading to more backlogs and delays throughout the supply chain. Additionally, even more frightening, the disruption of warehouse operations could create national security risks and weaken our position in the global trade. If our ports and supply chains become less reliable, it could encourage shippers to divert cargo to other regions or countries, ultimately reducing the competitiveness of the United States in the global market. We cannot afford to let this happen. For the sake of our economy, our security, and our local communities, I urge all of you to vote no on this AB 98. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lackey. Ms. Aguilar-Curry.
Move the previous question.
Assemblymember Bryan, Assemblymember Mainshine, Assemblymember Pellerin, Assemblymember Gabriel, all move. Assemblymember Wicks takes the majority of those present and voting to move the previous question. Clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 37, noes 15. Previous question carries. The author may now close. Mr. Flora.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I understand why we just made that motion. I do. I get it. But on this particular bill, the impacts that it has for our individual communities, it's unbelievable. I would, all of us, encourage, have these conversations to shut down debate on a bill that is this dramatic. I do not believe is in order. I understand that we just made that motion. I understand it just got voted on. But colleagues, this body is open for debate. This body is where we have these discussions. And to shut down debate after one conversation in opposition, nobody else ever spoke in support and or opposition, I think we should be very, very careful on how we proceed with this moving forward.
Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized for your point of order.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe that the threshold is not majority president voting, that it has to be a majority vote to move the previous question on a bill.
It is the majority and president voting. That is the rule. So your point is not well taken. Mr. Carrillo, would you like to close?
I respectfully request for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo. With that, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Mr. Carrillo, what is your pleasure? All those vote who desire to vote. Mr. Carrillo moves the call. Moving to file item 206, AB 1252. It's by Assemblymember Wicks. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1252 by Assemblymember Wicks and others, enacting the public safety.
Assemblymember Wicks, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill, AB 1252, puts in statute the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, amongst other things. Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Essayli, you are recognized.
Oh, I just think we should be debating all bills. I mean, I don't understand why we're cutting off debate. This is a deliberative body.
Do you have a point of order, or what? Or is
I'm
this
talking
just,
about debating this bill and all.
Do you have a point of order, Mr. Essayli?
No,
Then you are out of order.
Excuse me. I'm pulling up
If
my
you do
notes.
not have a point of order,
I'm
you are out of
speaking
order.
on this bill.
You did not speak about the bill. You talked about a general subject.
Okay, I'll
So
talk
do you have
about
a point
the
of
bill.
order?
The bill is about an Office of Gun Violence Prevention. And I don't think we need an Office of Gun Violence Prevention. We need to be enforcing the laws we already have on gun violence. I don't think that requires an office. We have district attorneys, we have sheriff's offices, we've got police departments. I don't understand why we would create a new bureaucracy that's going to focus on gun violence. The way you address gun violence is by enforcing the law and by having tough penalties when people use a gun in the commission of a crime. That's how you end gun violence. But opening up an office with more bureaucracy and bureaucrats to do nothing, I don't understand this at all. So I think this is a well-intended goal, but we have proven ways to end gun violence, and that's by having strict and tough consequences when you use a gun in the commission of a crime. So, Mr. Speaker, I just think this is a very unwise move, and I'm glad I can debate this. I'm glad I can exercise my voice on behalf of the 500,000 Californians I represent. They're just as equal as everyone else, and debate is important, and it's not our fault that that you all procrastinated. So here we are at the end of the clock. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ms. Wicks, would you like to close? Seeing and hearing no further debate. Would you like to close?
Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 46, noes 10. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 207, AB 1465 by Assemblymember Wicks. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1465 by Assemblymember Wicks, enacting air pollution.
Assemblymember Wicks, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is a bill I've brought up a couple times. It increases the penalties for Title V facilities, refineries, landfills, and other things. The penalties have not been increased in a couple decades. This is important to the environmental community. I know there's been recent opposition, particularly from our waste haulers. I'm committed to working with them specifically around the organics and recycling, starting next week, and seeing if we can come to a solution over the fall and in the coming months and next year to bring about a solution. I'm committed to that process. I will sit down with them and all stakeholders. I would respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I know, we're at the end of our, time here, but this is an important bill to the agricultural industry. There's big problems with this bill and how it would impact, our ag facilities if this were to go into place. And we think it sets a very bad precedent for penalties for similar pollution violations can be differentiated simply by the facility type. Under this approach, other similarly permitted Title V facilities may likewise be singled out sector by sector. There is no public policy rationale for singling out refineries. Serious legal questions of equal protection and due process, especially given the impacts of air pollution violation that would likely be the same on air quality. But the treatment and penalties applied would be based off of facility type. That's the problem here, is that we're differentiating on facility type here. And with our ag facilities, we already face, as I've said on this floor many times, we already face so many problems with this issue right now. We already have so many costs on us, and commodity prices are at an all-time low. So I would encourage you to support, to oppose.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. Recognizing the majority leader for a motion.
I move to suspend Assembly Rule 108 to limit each member to speak for 30 seconds so we can pass bills while complying with tonight's constitutional deadline.
Members, this is not debatable and takes 40 votes. The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Not debatable. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 42, no 17. The rules are suspended. Speakers are limited to 30 seconds per person. Mr. Flora.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, it's interesting. We've just gone through a week's worth of bills that arguably do something or very little. We've saved some of the biggest bills. We fought with the other house on what bills we were getting back and forth. Some of the biggest bills of the legislative session. We're choosing these bills to shut down and limit debate on. What are we doing? It is a point of order, because I've been in this body for 8 years. I've never seen us limit. I understand that we're up against the clock.
What is your point of order, Mr.
My point of order is, this is absolute garbage. We cannot do democracy in the 5th largest economy and not be able to debate bills that are this big and this important.
With all due respect, your point is not well taken. Mr. Gallagher.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I believe that if you're going to limit debate to 30 seconds when the rule is that we each get 5 minutes, if we're going to do the 30 seconds, that should require a supermajority vote of this House.
It requires 40 votes, so your point of order is out of order. Madam, Ms. Bauer-Cahan, please. She did have her microphone up first. Ms. Bauer-Cahan.
Mr. Speaker, I move to call the previous question.
Previous question.
On AB 1465.
So we had Mr. Ward, we had Mr. Gabriel, Ms. Bonta, Mr. Berman. It takes a majority of those present and moving to move the previous question. The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 41-15. Previous question carries. The author may close. I'm going to. You have to recognize a point of order. You don't get to make up the rules. I recognize your point of order after Ms. Wicks closes. What is your point of order, Mr. Essayli?
She has the authority to make a new rule. So she can suspend the rules, and I do think that should be supermajority, but I do not think she can make a new rule. That's my point of order.
She did not make a new rule. She suspended a rule.
She made a 30-second rule. That is a new rule.
Pardon me? Ms. Bauer-Cahan.
Speaker, I believe my motion carried and the question is appropriately called.
It did. Your point of order is not well taken, Mr. Essayli.
Let her.
So Mr. Essayli is appealing the ruling of the chair. Mr. Gallagher is seconding that. Mr. Essayli, you were using dilatory tactics, which are a violation of the rules. I will no longer recognize you after this. You will no longer be recognized, Mr. Essayli. So the appeal of the ruling of the chair, Mr. Essayli is asking to appeal the ruling of the chair. I'm asking that you uphold the ruling of the chair. Clerk will open the roll. Mr. Essayli, you are no longer recognized. You are no longer recognized. Clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote to uphold the rule of the chair, ruling of the chair. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 49, noes 15. The ruling of the chair. So, you are no longer recognized, Mr. Essayli. Open the roll on the bill. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 44, noes 14. We're moving to file item 208, AB 1831 by Mr. Berman. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1831 by Assemblymember Berman and others, enact-related crimes.
Mr. Berman, you are recognized.
AB 1831 would prohibit the creation, possession, or distribution of AI-generated child sexual abuse material. I respectfully ask everyone for their aye vote.
Mr. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who... Not in a minute. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 68, no 0. Measure passes. Moving to file item 209, AB 1843 by Mr. Rodriguez. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1843 by Assemblymember Rodriguez and others, enact-related private deployment.
Mr. Rodriguez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Thank you for the opportunity to present AB 1843, which is back on concurrence. The bill would significantly improve and expand the mental and emotional support options available to our EMS workers at private ambulance companies. State amendments also remove opposition. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. It's been a pleasure and honor to serve with each and one of you, as this is my last EMS bill in my last 11 years here. Thank you all, and may God bless us all as we move forward for California.
With that, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Members, please keep your concurrence statements very brief if you can. We have a lot of bills to get through, so please keep them very, very brief. Thank you. Moving to file item 210, AB 1893 by Assemblymember Wicks. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1893 by Assemblymember Wicks, enact-related land use.
Ms. Wicks, you are recognized.
Thank you. AB 1893 is back on concurrence. Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 42, no 7. Measure passes. Moving to file item 211, AB 2095 by Mr. Mainshine. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2095 by Assemblymember Mainshine, enact-related public notice.
Mr. Mainshine, you are recognized.
AB 2095 is back on concurrence, passed 39-0 in the Senate. Respectfully request your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 64, no 0. Measure passes. Moving to file item 213, AB 2243. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2243 by Assemblymember Wicks, enact-related housing.
Assemblymember Wicks, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 2243 is back on concurrence. It was on consent when it was here last time. Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing. Mr. Patterson, you are recognized.
Yeah, so I had an opportunity to look at this bill more close, and I think I'm going to lay off of it today. And I think, but I think we skipped a number, 212, which is really what caught me off guard. I didn't get an opportunity to read the full analysis on it. So because of that, I think I'm just going to have to lay off. So with that, I ask everybody else to lay off too.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. I'm going to ask the clerk to lift the call on file item 205. Oh, I'm sorry, closing the roll on file item ayes 58, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in on 213. We're going to lift the call on file item 205. Clerk will post. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes, ayes 42, noes 14. Measure passes. Moving to file item 214, AB 2250 by Dr. Weber. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2250 by Assemblymember Weber and others, Snack-Layton Health.
Dr. Weber, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 2250 is back on concurrence. Respectfully ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wood. Dr. Weber. Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote. My apologies, Mr. Gallagher.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I oppose this bill, and I ask that we turn down this bill. It mandates screenings for social detriments of health as defined as covered benefit under the Medi-Cal program. It extends the same mandate to healthcare service plans and health insurance policies to cover screenings. Expands coverage mandates to include subjective questioning of a patient on their upbringing and current living situation. This is not another mandate that we need in our Medi-Cal system. It increases costs, increases premiums. I urge a no vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes, ayes 49, noes 6. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 215, AB 2263 by Assemblymember Friedman. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2263 by Assemblymember Friedman and others, Snack-Layton Public Social Services.
Assemblymember Friedman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am very happy that my final bill on the floor of the legislature is a priority of JPAC and the Jewish Caucus, and is a bill to uplift the most vulnerable amongst us with a guaranteed basic income study. And like that, she's gone.
Thank you. Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized. Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And this is why it's very important for us to be able to debate these bills. This is a guaranteed income bill, establishing a framework for guaranteed income across the board. This has already been looked at. This has not worked in many locations. It was started in Stockton. The mayor was actually not reelected, and the program was a failure. And so we're trying to do, we're going to do a statewide program of something that we know doesn't work, period. And so,
Thank you, Mr.
now,
Gallagher.
but we're just going to pass this
Thank
through
you, Mr. Gallagher.
without, I think I still have.
Yeah, that was 30 seconds. That's gone now. So thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
well, I
Gallagher.
urge a no
Seeing
vote on
and
this
hearing
terrible
no further
bill and
debate,
terrible
clerk will open the
policy.
roll.
Thank you.
All those vote who desire to vote. Mr. Essayli, I have told you, you will no longer be recognized tonight. All those vote who desire to vote. The roll is open. Close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 42, noes 7. Moving to file item 216, AB 2348 by Mr. Ramos. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2348 by Assemblymember Ramos and Layton to the California
Ramos,
Emergency Services Act.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today for concurrence of AB 2348. This bill is simple clarifications. I ask for your aye vote. Aye vote.
Mr. Ramos. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 58, noes 0. Moving to file item 219, AB 2561 by Assemblymember Kenner. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2561 by Assemblymember McKenna and Layton of Public Employment.
Assemblymember McKenna, you are recognized.
Yes, I am asking you, Mr. Speaker, AB 2561. Please, I'm urging an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember McKenna. Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do oppose this bill, and I ask that we vote no. Again, when this bill left the Assembly, it would have required public agencies to create plans to fill vacancies in 6 months. It now requires they provide an annual public presentation on vacancies. This bill is completely changed since it's left this House. I think we do need to have discussion and debate on these bills, not just pass them when there's been significant changes
Thank
and
you,
rush
Mr.
them through the
Gallagher. Your time
legislative
is up.
process.
Seeing
I
and
urge a
hearing
no
further
vote.
debate- Ms. Barakahan.
Make a motion to move the previous question on AB 2561.
So the motion is made for the previous question, seconded by Mr. Berman, Gabriel, Bonta, Ward. Takes a majority of votes present and voting to move the previous question. Clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 43, noes 10. Previous question carries. The author may close. She asked for an aye vote. Clerk, all debate having ceased, clerk will close the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 51, noes 5. Measure passes. Moving to file item number 220, AB 2629 by Mr. Haney. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2629 by Assemblymember Haney, enact the firearms.
Back on concurrence, respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Haney. Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized. Your time is running out, Mr. Gallagher. You were recognized 15 seconds ago. You have 15 seconds.
I need my phone. I need my microphone on. So I actually agree with this bill. I urge an aye vote for the bill.
Thank you.
And it removed the
Your time
applicability of the
is
bill
up.
to individuals found
Seen and
incompetent.
hearing.
Excuse me, Mr. Speaker, you do have to give me 30 seconds, as you are the one that made the rule that said we each have 30 seconds, and I would like my 30 seconds. Thank you.
Ms. Aguilar-Curry moves the previous question.
That's point of order.
Mr. Gabriel seconds.
Point of order.
Ms. McKinner, Ms. Addis, Mr. Zuber.
Point of order.
It takes a majority of those present voting to move the previous question. Clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Ayes 52, noes 1. Previous question carries. The author may close. Mr. Haney, please close. Mr. Haney, please close.
Respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 54, noes 1. Measure Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to item 221, AB 2716 by Mr. Bryan. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2716 by Assemblymember Bryan and others, enacting oil and gas.
Mr. Bryan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a district bill. Respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 46, noes 10. Measure Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 224, AB 2795. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2795 by Assemblymember Rambula and others, enacting the public social services.
Dr. Rambula, recognized.
2795 is back on concurrence. Native American Caucus priority, bipartisan support. Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Rambula. Mr. Patterson.
Yeah, this is a good bill, but I got confused again because we skipped a couple more bills. But I'm looking forward to voting yes on this bill titled the Cal Work Indian Health Clinic Program. And we've skipped like a half dozen bills. So, okay, so we're going to stop doing that now?
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 67, noes 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. We are moving now to file item 212, AB 2107 by Assemblymember Chen. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2107 by Assemblymember Chen, enacting healing arts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, for allowing me to present AB 2107. The use of digital data, results, and images are becoming more common in the field of pathology. Without this authorization, pathologists will be limited in viewing digital data, results, and images inside physical licensed laboratories. AB 2107 will bring California one step closer to allowing pathologists to review digital data. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I respectfully ask your vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 65, 67, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. We're moving to file item 225, AB 2803 by Assemblymember Valencia. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2803 by Assemblymember Valencia and others, enacting the Political Reform Act of 1974.
Mr. Valencia, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 2803 is back on concurrence. I respectfully ask for a yes vote.
Thank you, Mr. Valencia. Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 65, noes 1. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 226 by Assemblymember Bonta, AB 2851. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2851 by Assemblymember Bonta, enacting air pollution.
Member Bonta, you are recognized.
AB 2851 is back on concurrence. I respectfully request your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 52, noes 9. Measure Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 229, AB 3138 by Assemblymember Wilson. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 3138 by Assemblymember Wilson, enacting the vehicles.
Assemblymember Wilson, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 3138 is back on concurrence. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 59, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 230, AB 3233 by Assemblymember Addis. Clerk.
Assembly Bill 3233 by Assemblymember Addis and others, enacting oil and gas.
Assemblymember Addis, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 3233 is back on concurrence, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Addis. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes. No, we're not there yet. We're not. Don't close. Don't close. No, not close.
Mark.
Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 43, noes 14. Measure Senate amendments are concurred in. We're now moving to file item 217, AB 2640 by Mr. Ta. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2460 by Assemblymember Ta, enacting the common interest development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 2460 is back with technical Senate amendment. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 57, noes 1. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 231, AB 3261 by Assemblymember Mike Fong. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 3261 by Assemblymember Mike Fong and others, enacting horse racing.
Mr. Fong, you are recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker and members. Assembly Bill 3261 is back on concurrence. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 70, noes 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 218 by Assemblymember Jim Patterson, AB 2471. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2471 by Assemblymember Jim Patterson and others, enacting the professions and vocations.
Assemblymember Patterson,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, AB 2471 back on concurrence. Senate amendments were clarifying, technical in nature, included double joining language. I'm asking for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 66, noes 0. Moving to file item 232, AB 3264 by Assemblymember Petrie Norris. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 3264 by Assemblymember Peachy Norris and others, enacting energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 3264 is back on concurrence. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Petrie Norris. Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 65, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 233, AB 3129 by Assemblymember Wood. Ms. Reyes is going to present.
Assembly Bill 3129 by Assemblymember Wood and others, enacting the health facilities.
Seeing and hearing no further debate. Ms. Reyes, you're recognized. You're recognized, Ms. Reyes. You're recognized, Ms. Reyes.
AB 3129 is back on concurrence. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Gallagher, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I do rise to oppose this bill. I do have concerns about how this could affect our hospitals and attempts to restrict hedge funds' involvement within healthcare using a very subjective rationale. We are concerned about that. As you know, many of our hospitals are in a very tough position right now. I would urge a no vote on this bill. Please consider this carefully with many of the things we're dealing with our hospitals at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 45, noes 11. Senate amendments are concurred in. Ms. Aguilar-Curry, you are recognized for your procedural motion.
I request unanimous consent to take up AB 1836 Barakayan today without reference to file.
Without objection. Mr. Flora, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We reject this. Ask for a roll call vote.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Aguilar-Curry moves. Mr. Gibson seconds. Mr. Flora is objecting. This is a procedural vote. Clerk will open the roll. Ms. Aguilar-Curry asking for an aye vote. Mr. Flora asking for a no vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 52, noes 15. The rules are suspended. We'll now move to take up AB 1836 by Assemblymember Bauer-Cahan. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1836 by Assemblymember Bauer-Cahan, enacting intellectual property.
Respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bauer-Cahan. Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized. Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized.
I'm trying to...
You sacrificed that right earlier tonight. Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized. Your time is ticking. You are out of order. Mr. Gallagher, your time is ticking away. You are now down to 15 seconds, Mr. Gallagher. Do you have testimony, Mr. Gallagher?
Mr. Speaker, I do...
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 50, noes 8. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 234, AB 1961 by Assemblymember Wicks. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1961 by Assemblymember Wicks and others, enacting food access.
Assemblymember Wicks, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 1961 is back on concurrence. Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 67, noes 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 235, AB 2842 by Assemblymember Pappen. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2842 by Assemblymember Pappen and others, enacting firearms.
Assemblymember Pappen, you are recognized.
Back on concurrence, respect and aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Pappen. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Yes. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 69, noes 1. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 222, AB 2729 by Assemblymember Joe Patterson. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2729 by Assemblymember Joe Patterson and others, enacting land use.
Mr. Patterson, you are recognized.
Thank you for calling on me. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Senate amendments are concurred in. We're moving back in file to file item 204, AB 1205 by Assemblymember Bauer-Cahan. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1205 by Assemblymember Cahan and others, enacting public post-secondary education.
Assemblymember Cahan, you are recognized.
Respectfully ask for aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 63, noes 3. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 223, AB 2745 by Mr. Mathis. Clerk will read. File item 223, AB 2745, Mr. Mathis.
Assembly Bill 2745 by Assemblymember Mathis and others, enacting to pass.
Thank you, members. Thank you, everybody, for the tenure here. Crazy way to end the session. But let's not be pests. Let's get this bill passed. This helps clean up bad properties. I ask you for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mathis. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 52, noes 1. Senate amendments are concurred in. We're moving to file item 228, AB 3134 by Mr. Chen. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 3134 by Assemblymember Chen, enacting property taxation.
Assemblymember Chen, you are recognized.
I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 65, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Moving to file item 236, AB 2041 by Assemblymember Bonta. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2041 by Assemblymember Bonta and others, enacting relating to the Political Reform Act of 1974, declaring the urgency thereof, to take effect immediately.
Respectfully request an aye vote. You're there?
All those vote who desire, would you like all those vote who desire to vote? Wait, sorry, just hang on. Just give me a second here. That has an urgency clause. We can take that up in a minute. We're going to go back to lift the call on item 131. Clerk will post. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 48, noes 8. Senate amendments are concurred in. What's that, I'm sorry? We're going to lift.
236, 227, good to go.
Moving to file item 227, AB 3024 by Assemblymember Ward. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 3024 by Assemblymember Ward and others, enacting civil law and declaring the urgency thereof, to take effect immediately.
Assemblymember Ward, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 3024 is back for concurrence. Amendments taken in the Senate strengthening First Amendment protections. I respectfully ask for your aye vote on concurrence.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Seeing and hearing no further. Mr. Gallagher, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do rise in opposition to this bill. I'm concerned about how this is defining intimidation by threat of violence. I do believe we should take more time to understand how these bills are affecting the overall populace. I do urge your no vote on this bill. Thank you.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. This is a 54-vote bill. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 55, noes 2. Measure passes. Moving to file item 83, we're going to lift the call. No, we're not doing that. We're done.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
We're done. We're done. We did. We did 236 and 227. We did them. Mr. Flora?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. According to my clock, it is 12 o'clock.
That is correct.
And I think, per the Constitution, anything that has not been taken up at this moment
Ms. Aguilar-Curry, you are recognized.
can take hers up. It has urgency.
There is a letter of legislative intent at the desk relative to AB 98, Juan Carrillo. I move to print the letters in the journal pursuant to Assembly Rule 42C.
This is a letter, not a bill. It's an intent to print a letter. Do you have an objection, Mr. Flora? This is not a bill.
I understand. We still object to the letter and ask for a roll call vote.
Mr. Flora objects to the letters being printed in the journal. Ms. Aguilar-Curry is asking for an aye vote. Mr. Gibson seconds. The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 49, noes 12. The letter will be printed.
Bill 236 can be taken up after midnight and has not been taken up.
Assemblymember, we are going to move to file item 236 by Assemblymember Bonta. This is an urgency bill, so it does not, the time limit does not work here, or doesn't matter. We can do this after 12 o'clock. It is 12:02. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2041 by Assemblymember Bonta and others, enact relating to the Political Reform Act of 1974 and declare the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Assemblymember Bonta, you are recognized.
AB 2041 is back on concurrence. I respectfully request an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bonta. Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 64, noes 1. Senate amendments are concurred in. Members, we are not ready to adjourn, but I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude to Sue and this amazing team that's working up front here. There are 15 people that work up here doing a variety of things, many of which I will never understand. I've got some notes coming But there are 28 people altogether that work in the clerk's office, some of which you don't see at all. And I have some comments I'd like to make. Once I'm going to hold those comments. Actually, Madam Majority Leader, you are recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I request unanimous consent to hold AB 852, Joan Sawyer, at the desk.
Without objection, such shall be the order. You will continue to be recognized.
I just wanted to thank all of you it's been a tough couple of days, but you did really well. And it's going to be an honor to work with many of you. To those of you that are leaving us, it's sad. We've had these wonderful friendships for all these years. So all of you, have a good life, enjoy retirement or what your next step is. Thank you, everybody.
Should note that we are still in session. We are still in session. So, members, could I get your attention, please? We do have an adjournment memory, so I would ask that you give your respectful attention to Assemblymember Dixon, who was granted prior permission to speak on an adjournment memory. Quorum call is in place. We are still in session. Assemblymember Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate that at this late hour. And members, I rise today in the memory of the Honorable Stephen Bromberg, a local leader and close friend, a truly dedicated